Yeah. mistake. I'm so far gone, bad blood turned on. I burn to anyone in my way. I'm about to bury my hatchet, so pick up the plush in your casket. These chemicals give me bad reactions. Burn it down to the ashes. Fan the flame until it catches. Fire's rising in the blackness. Burn it down to the ashes. I'm here for the vengeance, not here to behave. Get up in my business, I put you down in the grave. I'm so far gone, bad blood turned on. I burn to anyone in my way. I'm about to bury my hatchet, so pick up the plush in your casket. These chemicals give me bad reactions. Burn it down to the ashes. Fan the flame until it catches. Fire's rising in the blackness. Burn it down to the ashes. I feel the darkness calling me. I feel the darkness calling me. I feel the darkness calling me. I feel the darkness. Burn it down to the ashes. Fan the flame until it catches. Fire's rising in the blackness. Burn it down to the burn it down to the ashes. Fan the flame until it catches. Fire's rising in the blackness. Burn it down to the ashes.
All right, what's up, guys? So, happy Friday. Gonna do some Q&A. Got you coffee. Cheers to everybody. I'm seeing some funny stuff on the back end of YouTube, so if there's any video issues, let me know in the chat. On my end, it seems to be clear. So as long as you guys can hear me and see me, I'm gonna keep going. Take a couple sips here. We got some questions in the chat. Appreciate any super chats. Make sure to hit like on the video. Helps the channel. Smash like. Let me know if you guys watched the Jake Reed video, and if you guys, I'm also curious. I want to pick your guys' brain on a couple different topics and get some feedback for you. But cheers. I don't know if you guys drink coffee as late as I do. All right, I'm gonna type in the chat. I tried typing in the chat and it was basically like, nah. All right, cool. I'm gonna turn the music off. I love having music in the background because it makes me feel normal. Got some questions in here. I wanted to talk about a couple things. Go check out my friend Jake Reed, even if you go right now. It's understood. My friend, I did a video. He is a session drummer in Los Angeles, and he's just exceptional. And I've been telling, especially during these times of us being home often, I've been telling basically everybody I know to start a YouTube channel, and I just don't see any reason why people shouldn't. I mean, we all have cameras on our phones. It doesn't have to be like Peter McKinnon level. So anyway, Jake took my advice and he put up his first video, and I had him on and we had a awesome conversation. I got to pick his brain on a bunch of stuff. Hopefully we can do that more often than not. He is sort of if I were to trust somebody as far as asking them about, and I see you in the chat. What's up, Jake? If I were to trust somebody when it comes to drums, it would be that guy. Jake is super duper cool and just a funny dude, good personality, really nice. So cheers to Jake. And also we put that video up, and Jake, you had your first home studio tour, which is amazing, by the way. I am a sucker for home studio tours. I will say when I come out to LA, we're going to do another one. I don't care, even if you have yours, we're going to do another one. Got some questions here. Let's see. I'll get to those in a second. I want to ask a couple questions from you guys, if you don't mind. There's sort of a delay here, so it's going to be kind of hard to tell anyway. But typically I post videos on Mondays, and I always do at the same time, Monday at 9 a.m. And I want to do like a consistent second video upload later in the week, and then I want to do these streams on Friday. And I'm just curious because there's such a huge difference in the amount of people who are even subscribed who see the videos on Monday versus like a Wednesday or a Thursday. And so I'm trying to figure out what would be a better day with that. And also, I kind of want to try like some different formats of videos. Like I want to do something. I don't know how many photography people watch my channel, but I think it would be cool. There's a YouTuber called Jared Polin. His tag is like Jared Polin Frono's photo. He's hilarious. He's awesome, really cool dude, and talented photographer. He's basically like one of the elite guys in photography, and he does like a photo news fix, which is sort of like a roundup of, different products that are coming out and different things to look forward to in the photography realm. And I want to do something, I'd like to do something like that as it pertains to audio equipment and software and plugins and something like that. So let me know if that would be like interesting to you guys. And then I'm going to do these on Fridays consistently and just try to limit it to 1 hour and see how that goes. I'm super curious. I'm kind of like a nerd when it comes to the back end of YouTube and stuff like that. So I appreciate any feedback. It means a lot to me. Thank you, and thank you guys so much for being here. And I'm gonna check out your questions. Hold on. Smash like for coffee. And for Jake. Super jealous of that mustache, man. Just man level 10. Okay, what do we got? Manuel Herrera. Show us tips when miking drums, please. Cool. I have no problem doing that. I love doing that. I think I have a few videos where I do that, so it might be worth combing through. You can kind of get. I guess maybe I haven't done one where I, explicitly explain, but it's complicated. Miking drums is like it depend. Just like I say with everything else, it really depends. How you want it to sound and stuff like that. I guess I could do a video like that. If you guys are into more drum videos, I always love those. Lance Byler. Sorry if I'm not good at names. Let's just do this. I'm going to pronounce your name wrong to everybody. Okay. Lance. Andrew, just found your channel recently. Thank you for the great content. Can you talk about your computer you use to edit, specs, Mac PC, and maybe elaborate on minimum specs you feel are necessary? Sure. I use Mac. I like Mac because it just makes sense to my brain. I think you could probably get away with using anything. Something special about Mac is you can use programs like Logic, Final Cut, stuff that is exclusive to Apple, GarageBand, things like that. My computer is the Mac Mini, and what is it? It's the 28 version, or I'm sorry, 2018 version. I think they've released a Mac Mini kind of like once or twice. Maybe there's 2 iterations of it, 2 generations. The version that I have was I bought it last year, so 2019, and I did a lot of combing through the options as far as computers and trying to figure out what was going to make sense for my workflow. I think this is an extremely personal question. It really depends on how you use your computer. Obviously, go for a good processor. I don't know, whatever the latest one is. Usually, if you can afford to upgrade, whatever the options are, go for the upgraded versions. Do that. If you can't afford that, then my next go-to would essentially, be good. A good solid amount of RAM. I think there's different tiers of RAM, DDR RAM. I just bought my Mac Mini with every option upgraded except for the RAM. I got the smallest amount of RAM with the Mac Mini only because this was the first one that they actually let you open up and take the RAM out and use your own. So if you guys know anything about Apple, they don't like people doing that. So they usually just like solder it to the computer, so you're kind of just stuck with whatever they give you. So I just bought the RAM third party and then upgraded everything else with the computer. I don't think it's perfect. I think I have a really good workflow when it comes to designating my processing. I never use like 20 virtual instruments at the same time. I'm not that kind of person. Like, I'm not working in that way. I always, I kind of like to hyper focus on one thing at a time. So if I'm recording or if I'm doing pre-production, I'm really focused on 1, 2, or maybe even 3 instruments at a time. And it usually involves a microphone and a guitar, of some sort, acoustic or like a keyboard or something. So in that case, I'll usually have a virtual instrument going through, what's the some sort of keyboard. I have a few plugins that I'll switch between. I like the East-West stuff. East-West operates on its own hard drive. So I think sort of what makes a computer run really well is just making sure that everything is not on your computer simultaneously. So I have 5 hard drives connected at any given time. One of them is essentially a work drive. So it's a solid state external hard drive, but I keep sound libraries on there and things that I use while I'm in Pro Tools or whatever Logic that I need access to and I need to not wait around for. I keep it on that drive, and all of the other hard drives are storage, different. Some of it's like a backup drive, some of it's like a master drive, and then I have like a second sound library drive. But I think as long as you're not keeping everything in one place and then having all your plugins all reaching from the same, the same source, you're not going to weigh your computer down. Using the Apollo equipment, using their plugins, which are processed off of the computer, and same thing. I don't run into any issues. So I use 32 gigs of RAM that I bought from Amazon, and that's really it. I don't think there's anything else special about the computer. It was really simple. I liked that you could, open it up. I'd never done that before, so that was a little bit terrifying. But just a 2018 Mac Mini, kind of spec'd out except for the RAM. Swap that out on your own. Let's see. Johnny. I'm going to go first names only. Johnny. Yeah. I love when my voice cracks. Watching your videos almost every day. Wow. So much to learn with you, bro. Great content and very high. Thank you. Wow. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy. I only make videos about things that I enjoy. So, Alex F, what's up? What's up? Dylan, hey man, just found your channel a week or so ago. Really love the content. Much appreciated. Week 2 ago. Thank you. Lance, working fine here. Looks and sounds great. Jake. Okay, so this is quite a bit behind here. Josh, looks good. Alan, okay. Jake, yes. Subi, what's the story on the tracks you just played? Those are just, that is music that I license to use in my videos. So when you put videos up and you use music on them, you're either paying for the licenses of that music or you're using original music, and it's just not really a sustainable model for me to just be using my own music. And I like having different music between videos, so I use a service called MusicBed. Good stuff though, you know? Sometimes it's like a chill beat and sometimes it's like, what do they call it? Rock. It's like a hilarious version of rock. I can't remember what it's called. Adriano, Jake's home studio tour was unreal. Seriously, for a first video, Jake, that was all the right things, man. Such a killer drummer, man. The only thing I'd say about the video, Jake, is you should have had you ripping on the drums like right from the get-go, like boom. Because it's just, I'm sold the second I see that. What was the third tune that was a dirty, funky, great bass distorted vocal? Third tune, let's see. That's called Pedal Down from Soldier Story. There's this, the artist who made that song, his band, it's one dude. He calls himself Soldier Story, but I basically use every song he's ever released on my videos. So if you look him up, you'll be like, yeah, this is Andrew Masters' channel. Every song. Welcome everyone. Jake, nice to see you on here. Ariana, what's up, Ariana? Zay Sims, whatever you put out, we watching. I appreciate that. You know, I'm kind of going back and forth on that. I most of the YouTubers that I like, I'll watch anything they put out and love it no matter what. So sometimes it's just a little, when you're the one making it, you're scared like about, you know, if I put this out and people don't like it, you know. So that's kind of silly, but there's definitely a different kind of video coming out on Monday, that's for sure. Joshua, Andrew, love the channel. What are your thoughts on the audio test kitchen in regards to informing mic purchases? I don't know what that is, so I have no thoughts on it. I will be transparent with you guys. I don't watch anything on YouTube that is related to the stuff that I talk about. One of my things that I'm hyper aware of is I am extremely influenceable. I mean, you can watch my videos. If you go back to my first video, it's basically a Casey Neistat ripoff. And I was just binging Casey Neistat for 3 days straight before I made that video. And he was doing daily vlogs for like a year or two. And I was just like, this is so awesome. And I decided to, you know, pull the trigger and do my first, you know, vlog. I was like, I don't see a lot of vlog style recording studio sessions. I should do something like that. And it was straight up. I put it out and a friend of mine was like, oh yeah, this is Casey Neistat. Like, you're doing Casey Neistat. I was like, oh. So anyway, the point is I try to not watch other people who talk about the same stuff as me, or else I'll just wind up making their videos. And I would like to not do that. Adriano, question for you, Andrew. How do you go about financing your home studio? Of course, home studios can be expensive, and we all love gear. So any tips for building it up? Yeah, take it one step at a time. Put one foot in front of the other. Talk to friends, man. Have good people around you. When I started, it was, you know, I was a kid. I was so young, and I think I was 14 or something when I got my first interface. And I was just experimenting. Like engineering is essentially experimenting, plugging stuff into other stuff to see what happens, and then trying to manipulate that. So, I basically started recording as soon as I got a guitar pedal that had an 1/8 inch out, a headphone out, and I jammed that into the back of my Dell in middle school and started recording like emo rock. And that was that started, I was using like Sony Acid or Cool Edit Pro or whatever it was at the time. So just, you don't have to have, like, all this stuff is just a luxury. It's super awesome because this is my life. Like, my career is this. Like, I make money because I bought these things, and it makes me faster. It makes me sharper. It makes me better at what I do. Any place in my work process where I can save 30 seconds makes me better. So as far as like investing and stuff, you can start small, like very small, with a couple things. And especially nowadays, you can get, a very affordable MIDI controller and GarageBand or whatever. I haven't been in a PC in forever. So whatever the PC alternative to programs like that are, Reaper, I think Reaper is free. Anything that's got some plugins where you can just, get a USB mic. Start small and just start doing it. You can get stupid. I was watching this drummer on YouTube today who records in a storage facility. I always see him in my Instagram feed. I'm almost certain, I bet you guys have too, because I'm sure we all watch the same stuff. And dude just plays his drums in this storage facility. He's a killer drummer, and he's usually talking about like some pattern he's playing, but it sounds great. And he just uses apparently he just uses one mic, and he's in a storage, like a commercial storage building, and he's got a bunch of drums and stuff. It's super cool, but he literally puts his laptop on the floor top and just jams out with one mic. So I mean, you don't have to have all this stuff, and honestly, I'm very lucky, and I've spent a lot of time, and basically anytime I've ever been paid, I buy stuff like this. I put that paycheck, I pay my bills, and then I put the rest back into things that I can use for work. So I don't eat out. I don't spend money on literally. I've been wearing the same shirt. This is a shirt from 2006 from my high school Battle of the Bands. So just prioritize what you want. I also am thinking about making one of those build a cheap studio videos. I'm not super interested in that, but I've had a lot of people asking me about it, and I haven't put together any sort of list or anything like that, so it might be cool to revisit some of those products. Lance, nailed it. Sweet. Alex, how many mics should I be using? Wait, how many mics should I be using when using drums? As many as you want. There's no satisfying answer for engineering. I could say 12. I could say 15. I could say 1, 2. None of it's going to be satisfying. How much money do you have? How much do you want to spend? What kind of sound are you looking to get? I would first ask, do I have the right drums? The drums decide on how great the sound is. The drummer decides how great the performance is. That's everything. You get a great drum kit and then that's back to this other, I wish I knew the dude's name. This other YouTuber, he just uses great, he's got snares behind him for days, like Jake. And just you get the right drums, make sure you're using the right stuff, learn how to tune some drums and placement and all of that comes first. Then the mics. Essentially, this might be interesting to you. I've been engineering for well over 10 years, technically like getting paid for it for a little over 9. Now, in the past 6 months, I've been essentially just producing, and it's really changed my appreciation for engineering. And from the perspective of the music dictates how great the finished song is. the performance, the instruments, the player. That's how you're creating a great sounding song. You can have the best gear and the best room, and sometimes even have great players, but just have a bad song, and it's gonna sound like a really greatly recorded terrible song, So just focus on getting great drums and stuff first, and then get what you need. Find a good overhead. That'd probably be the first one to go to. Maybe get a kick and a snare. Start there. After that, everything else is just options and experimenting. What do I use? 11 mics. 11 inputs. A stereo mic. Everything else is individually mic'd. Sometimes I use 9 mics if I'm not using a room. So it really depends. But if I'm in a studio where they just have excessive gear, then I'll be like, yeah, throw one of those weird mics out in the corner of the room or something. David, let's see. Hi, Andrew. Thanks for doing this. Glad I could actually make it to your live presentation. Hope you and your family are doing well in these bizarre times. Thanks, as always, for your channel. Cool. Thank you. Dylan Klein Music. What camera setup? Oh, yes. Thank you. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. This is a Canon EOS R. It's a mirrorless. And it's, let's see, camera setup. It's on what's called a switch pod. Super cool. It's like kind of like an industrial selfie stick. The legs are magnetic, so they like shoot out, and it's really sturdy, so your camera won't fall if it's an excessively expensive camera. I use a little Rode mic on top. The mic totally blows. It's a Rode video mic. It's not the good one. But yeah, I don't use that mic. I use this mic now. It's more work, but sounds better, looks better. The video stream, this is where it gets excessive, is I'm actually connected my mirrorless camera to my Mac Mini, which says a lot about the Mac Mini, via USB 3 or C, and I'm filming this in a log profile, which is like, in audio terms, it's like 192. It's excessive, and it's really intensive on the processing of the computer, just to play it back. And there's also no color, so like the color you're seeing I'm applying these what are called LUTs. This is like, I don't know how many. If you guys are interested in this, I'm gonna just start slamming out videos about this stuff, because I'm so deep in the weeds on this stuff. I use some LUTs on my broadcasting software applied to the log profile. Cut me off, if I'm getting too deep here. To get this look, and I've got a couple lights here. There's super cheap lights, and yeah, that's it. I'm using OBS. I don't know what the acronym's for. It's just OBS, something broadcasting software. It's free. It's kind of a pain in the butt to figure out and to use properly, but it works, and it looks pretty good. So yeah, that's kind of the deal. Audio going through the Apollo, just straight in the Apollo with the 610 on the Unison Pre 1176, keeping it nice and broadcasty. More coffee. Smash like for coffee, guys. Dude, how crazy is it that after that video, Jake's channel quadrupled in size? I'm so excited for Jake. That just is super inspiring. I want to do that for more people. Okay, let's see. How much? Oh, okay, here we go. Wow, lots of questions here, guys. Third tune question, financing studio. Yeah, this is where I feel like I need some music. I'm such a poor reader. It takes me forever, and there's a lot of comments here. Okay, here we go. Ricky, I've been overloading my CPU lately. Any tips on dealing with this? I've been thinking about upgrading to a laptop with more RAM and external SSD drives. Yeah, that's the other thing I forgot to mention about my Mac Mini. I have the internal drive is a 1 terabyte SSD. I think you can get like 2 or 3 now. Like they just keep getting bigger every year. But I'm just using one. I don't think I need more than one on my internal drive. And then I have a 2 terabyte external SSD, and I essentially use both of those. I spread out like any instruments that I'm, performing, and programming are on the external SSD. I think I have a couple plugins like Output. I have the Output software on my internal drive, and some of the heavier, like the East-West stuff, I think that's on my, I use the East-West pianos and strings on a lot of stuff, and those are the most processing intensive stuff. So I would, if you can, basically try to keep nothing on your internal drive if you can get away with it. Obviously, you got to keep the software, like the applications and stuff installed. But as far as storage, if you can just store nothing on your internal drive and store software that you want to, I don't want to say stream, but that you're using to program virtual instruments and stuff like that, anything that's really intensive, if you can store that on your internal drive, especially if it's SSD, or connect it to an external SSD, then you're going to have a much better time, smoother operations. I have not had any issues as far as, CPU issues. Every once in a while, like I experimented with building a composing template. A friend of mine, Matt, is a composer. He has an insane amount of shows, and he just has this Pro Tools template he's built over the past decade, and it is the coolest thing to see. And I was trying to make something like that just had like every instrument up ready to go, and you could just flip through the MIDI tracks and play any instrument. Occasionally Pro Tools would tell me that I was running low on RAM, but I would never have anything interfere with the process. We got a super chat here. Thank you, Alan Hunter. I don't know how to see this. Let me scroll down. Always learning. Bro, thank you, Alan. Is there really no comment here? Dude, you're awesome. Thank you. Yeah. I'm gonna go for 19 more minutes. I love doing this. I love talking this stuff, and I figured last week I did a few in 1 week, but I think I should just do it on one day for an hour and try to limit it and just do more focused videos. But I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much, Alan. I see you commenting on the videos, man. You're awesome. All right, here I'm seeing some questions about Eve. I just had Eve reach do you guys know much about studio monitors? The speaker company Eve Audio reached out to me after I did my Atom Audio video, and it turns out they were both founded by the same guy. I think, fact check me on that. Adam and Eve, and yeah, so might be something in the cooking in the kitchen there. Let's see. Love the channel. What are your thoughts on audio? Okay, hold on. Sam Brandt. Hey, Franco, hey, love your videos. You are a very inspiring person. Wow, thank you. I have a home studio now. I follow all your tips, and I'm so happy that your channel exists. Keep doing this because it's awesome. Team Coffee. Cheers to that. Team Smash Like. I'm sorry. Thank you for that, Franco. It's really weird when people tell me stuff. I get people reach out to me on Instagram and say stuff like that to me, and it's so crazy that you can use these things. If you were watching this, start a YouTube channel and make videos, because you just never know. Sam Brandt drums. I only have 2 AT 2020s to track drums. using a mono overhead and one on the kick. Oh, that sounds like a cool setup. Are those condensers? Any suggestions? One on the kick and any suggestions recording with just 2 condensers? Yeah, okay. Especially struggling to get the snare to stand out. I made a video a couple years ago when I first created this channel, and I think the video was called something about recording drums with 2 mics. Check that video out, because I didn't use 2 condensers, but you could basically do the same placement that I did, and instead of putting the condenser inside the kick, just put it on the outside, like right in the center of the drum on the resonant head, and just kind of experiment with how close and how far from the kit it is. Or do that for now, and then get like a Beta 52 or something to put on that kick, and then use those 2 condensers you have as like a... Jake, are you still here? What's that overhead? The Glenn Johns technique. Look up the Glenn Johns overhead. You could do, basically you do one like straight overhead and then another like by the floor tom, and it's just like a super crazy overhead full kit style. But for now, yeah, you can do the mono above the kick, batter, and snare, and experiment with the height. That, the higher it is, the more room you get, the closer it is, the more direct snare you're gonna get. One of my favorite placements for a mono condenser, around my head, is over the shoulder, right over. You literally sneak it right next to the ear. I think I said this. I've probably said this a lot, but this is a great one because you're pointing it right at the snare, and you're also getting a little bit of that kick batter. And then, close. You're hearing what the drummer is hearing while they're sitting there, and that's like, just make sure the drummer doesn't smack your mic. Hey Zeus, have you heard of Eve monitors? I see they're similar to Atom monitors. Just wondering if you know anything about them and your thoughts. When I see comments like this, I wonder if because it's so strange. When I put the Atom video out, I had a bunch of people ask me about Eve monitors. I'd never even heard of them or seen them, and I said that and replied to their comments, and apparently they reached out to me, and unfortunately I went to my spam folder, so I didn't see it until recently. But I think they're going to try to get me a demo pair to check out, and AB, it'd be cool to do a Atom versus Eve video. Be very interesting. Can't wait to come up with the title for that. Johnny, do you think good headphones and reference speakers are necessary to mixing drums for drum videos? I'm learning more about music production, so I've never used this kind of professional equipment. I think when you're getting started, don't worry about the details. Just do what feels right. Like and what I mean is, if you have a set of speakers that you normally listen to music on, use those, because you're going to be able to tell whether something is going in the right direction or not based off of what you're familiar with. If you get some nice speakers that you're not used to, everything's going to sound good. I promise. It's not going to sound perfect because there's a lot of other things that go into it, but use speakers that you're familiar with. Your car, if you listen to music all the time in your car, I think I made a video back in my other apartment about sort of an approach to mixing, which I used to do. I don't do it so much anymore because the process is different when I'm also producing, but basically set a timer. Don't spend 8 hours on a mix and then go check it. Set a timer. Spend 30, 45 minutes on a mix. Just pretend, like, challenge yourself. Say, I've got to deliver this in 45 minutes and that's it. Like, I have no other option. Get it as good as you can. Big picture, make big picture moves. Timer goes off, stop. Then leave the room bounce it out, go to your car or your boombox, whatever, your stereo, wherever you listen to music, usually where you're familiar with the sound, and put on a record you like and know and are familiar with. Like me, I'll go out and throw some Vultures on from John Mayer and listen to that. And because I know that song, I know how it sounds, I know the speakers I'm listening to it on, and then play your mix and go, okay, what's the problem, and just jot down some quick notes, very quick notes, and then kind of go back and make those, just make those adjustments. Don't dig deep and go spend 6 more hours on it. Make quick adjustments. I wouldn't be too concerned about which headphones or reference speakers. Just use what you know and what you like. Any more opinions on UA Luna? With the updates, I haven't downloaded yet, waiting on the bugs to be ironed out. Yeah, Luna and I we're flirting. We are seeing each other. I like Luna. I'm very open-minded to taking the next step. I really like the monitoring. The monitoring is probably one of the biggest sells in the console interface. I love that, and the basics of, automatic saving, undos, stuff like that. The real question will be editing, because and also like MIDI. If something takes me more than like 2 minutes to like try to figure out, I'm just going back to what I know works. I tried doing a project this week. I was like, I'm gonna do this in Luna and see how far I get. And I couldn't get the routing for the MIDI going, and I think I spent like 5 or 10 minutes. I was like, no. So I jumped over into Pro Tools. But I want it to work. I want things to go well with Luna. I like Luna, but not quite there yet. Taking it slow. Lance, sweet. Thank you for answering my question. Gustavo, oh man, I'm late. Franco, Jake Reed videos are great. Can you tell me what mics I should buy if I want to do the Glenn Johns techniques plus room mic? Hopefully not too expensive. I mean, yeah, it's I can't tell you. I can't tell you what to buy. I mean, if I could, I'd say get some C12s, get some an R88, some 440s, some 47s. But, nobody's doing that. Jake's got some pretty stupid mics, like some really good mics. So, all right, I'm going to try and blast through these. There's a ton of these on here. Thank you guys so much for all this. Carol. Hi, Carol. Hi, Lainey. Brody, what's up? Johnny, do you have tips about a music production career, business tips, like what's important to do with clients besides do the best we can and be happy with our jobs? Yeah, that's going to take more than 8 minutes to unpack, though. I'll jot that one down. Maybe we'll talk about that next Friday. Jeff Randall. That's right, Sam Brandt. That's his name. He uses an overhead and a kick mic. That I knew he had a second mic in there. But dude, he sounds great. And you know what? It's use what works. If it works, it works. Aaron S. Yep, sacrifices have to be made. I've been living broke paycheck to paycheck because whenever there's money left over from the paycheck, it goes straight in. Yeah, it's the life we choose, right? What's up, Adlai Studio? Get it right at the source. That's right. No cam link? Not sure what that is. I've had to resort to selling some things now because of I can't say that word, the C word. So maybe I'm an idiot for always investing in the C. Yeah, man, just do what works. It is crazy. I love that Jake's still on here. Aaron S. Haha, wonder if wifey's in the chat. Watch out. Oh, yeah. What is that? Dylan, thanks for answering the camera question. I'm also a geek about the stuff and would love to see videos. Yes. Tune in Monday, for sure. Okay. Okay, here we go. 14 DJ Funk. Set up a practice studio, quote unquote, for our church band practice, but found your videos and loving the insight and experience you provide as I decide what to do next. Thank you. I barely use plugins anymore. I keep it real. Right on. Yeah, I mean, the less you have to do, the better. Aaron S. Yeah, we're... Guys, come on. If you only knew what I really look like when I'm not... I actually don't know what is going on here. There's some stuff. Kai, Live, cool. Jacob. Aloha Church. Just got my first large diaphragm condenser. Congrats. SE 2300. I mostly record acoustic guitar and it combined with your how to mic acoustic video. It's a completely new sound. Love your stuff. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, those are my techniques. Those are just things that I've seen that I thought sounded good. Mike Johnston also used 2 condenser mic setup. Yeah, dude, that guy's awesome. Great YouTube channel, Mike Johnston. Check him out. So I would check out his videos where he talks about placement and how. Yeah, I think. Again, I don't know why. I feel like both of the videos from him and that other dude. So bad, I can't remember their names. That they said they were just using overheads. Could be wrong. I think he uses a ribbon. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Test the mic inside the body of the guitar with a t-shirt on it. Wow, that's interesting. You know, I've seen it all, man. The record we did with Blake Mills on John Legend's record, we were doing the craziest stuff. Taping headphones, literally gaff taping headphones to drums. And plugging those into DIs, and that's the mics, you know. We used... Blake has a bunch of these acoustic pickups, and the pickups like stick to the acoustic. You know, they have like this sort of putty stuff, and you can actually stick it on there. And yeah, we were using that on everything. He would stick them to the bottom of cymbals, and the wire would be hanging down. And I can't remember if he ran it through. I think he ran it through a DI in and through the DI into a booth, into a guitar amp with a big spring reverb. So a cymbal with a acoustic pickup stuck to it, going into a guitar amp, and then we put like a 67 on the guitar. It's just like stupid. You can get as weird as you want, and sometimes it's just like, I don't know how you thought of that, but you can get weird and you can get great sounds. Michael Jones. When miking a snare drum, is it important to use a top mic as well as the bottom? What about flipping phase on the bottom mic? What are the pros and cons of a bottom snare drum mic? Yeah, man. That's, you know, a kind of a subjective thing. There's an argument to say the more the merrier. You know, you can always mute the bottom mic unless you're bussing them together and recording the bust track of both of them. In that case, you want to get it right from the get-go. I just, in my setup here, I mostly, for my projects, just use one mic. I could use 2. I can do it. But I don't need to. Like, it sounds, if you just get the overhead placement right, and then you get your snare drum, your snare drum tuned right, and like the sound of your snare drum, sounding good, dampened, and however you want it to sound. You know, the bottom mic is just extra sizzle at that point, especially depending on which mic you're using. Got a super chat here. What's up? Adley Studio. Another good one, Andrew. Thanks for the hang. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are so awesome. Super chats make my day. Also, side note here, I just added a new feature to the website. If you guys have more in-depth things where you want me to like one-on-one walk you through some stuff, you can go to andrewmastersmusic.com. And when you go to the Book Now page, there's like a consulting thing. And I'll jump on Zoom with you and we'll go through whatever it is that you're trying to figure out. It's $20. And we jump on Zoom and work it out. So jump on there. You can schedule a time with me and I'd be happy to do it. It's a lot easier when it's one-on-one and I can get back and forth with you and show you things personally. So if you guys have any interest on that, then andrewmastersmusic.com, Book Now, consulting. Sweet. Okay. Getting close on time here, so I'm going to blast through these. Aaron, yeah, use both flip phase. Yeah. If you're using a bottom snare, definitely flip phase on the bottom snare. Always experiment too, because you never know with the overheads. I usually just flip the overheads, because of where I like to put them. It's almost 100% of the time flipping the overheads. Okay, let's see. Andrew Hamblin, what's up, bro? Broski? Late to the stream tonight. Love the format, broski. Loving the content. Thank you, man. Another person that needs to be making a YouTube channel. Super smart, cool dude. Inventor. The closer to the source, the higher fidelity. It's physics. I am not a physicist. Aloha. Gotta love that 10K sizzle. Tips for miking drums. Yeah. We'll do that maybe in go through my channel. I mean, I've got like 10 videos about recording drums and miking and different techniques and stuff like that. Let's see, which are those guitars? Oh, what are these guitars? I've got an Alvarez, the acoustic here. This is a sort of a ripoff of the Gibson Dove acoustic. I think it's a 74 Alvarez. 72. This thing sounds amazing. It's probably out of tune, but you can get the gist of it if I do a little. Yeah, a little out of tune, but this thing sounds just not too bright, not too dark. Got a nice warm sound to it. The others, there's a Guild. I don't know what this is. If any of you guys know, it has a invisible pickup here, and I've always kind of written it off. It's an electric guitar. It kind of sounds like a semi-hollow body when you play it. But I've always kind of written it off because of how it looks. I mean, it's got a beautiful finish, but there's no pickups, and it's just got these weird knobs. And I've spent some time trying to look it up. And the only thing I've heard about it is that it was previously owned by Alan Jackson. But I recently plugged it into my amp and I was like, what? This thing sounds incredible. So that one's great. Then I've got the Green Day guitar, which is a Squier Strat that I got when I was 15 at a Green Day concert. They gave it to me. Really weird story there. And then I have a Yamaha Traveler acoustic. Up there is the Martin 12-string. Then there's this custom Boulder Co. acoustic. It's kind of a cool, unusual one. And then this is my friend's bass. It's a Music Vox bass. It's got some intonation problems, so I don't really use it too much, but it's nice to have a bass. Thanks, Matt Mahavy. Let's see here. All right, gonna slam through these here. What's your take on tuning snare drums? Method you use? I'm not a drummer. I like low-tuned drums, and I also like really high-tuned drums. It's the middle that gets tricky. So yeah, I'll try to get the best. I think what did Jake say? The best the lowest fundamental before it's flappy and weak sounding. Yeah, I like that, but I also like something that cracks. So yeah, I'm not the guy. Go to Jake Reed's channel, watch his videos, because dude's gonna just be cranking out some amazing stuff. Excuse me, I just burped. Aaron S. Andrew, some girl. Okay, sweet. Mike, sending love from Canada. I love Canadians. You guys are awesome. One of my favorites, Peter McKinnon, Jesse Driftwood, Matty Hapoya. All incredible Canadian YouTubers. Contributor to a good slappy kick drum. Wait, what? Which? Dom. Which of the following do you think is the biggest contributor to a good slappy kick and tom sound? Assuming the player and the kit are great. Head choice, mic position, processing. Oh, assuming the player and the kit are great. I like ambassadors, emperors. I like emperors on toms, ambassador on snare. The kick, I think the Aquarian super kick is good. I think that's what I'm using. I like the super kick. It really depends. That would probably be the best for the sound you're talking about. I don't know. I like a good mid-range on my kick in mic and all the oomph from the out mic. So I always use the AKG D112. It's got a nice high mid-range, which is what I would look for in that. Instead of like the slap, you can use like a D6. It's got the boost on like 5K or whatever. I'm not super into that, but to each their own. I did a video, check it out. It's got an amazing clickbait title. Had this completely transformed my kick drum sound. I did some kick placement, mic, kick drum shootout stuff. Check that out. Mike, I'm currently moving to a new place and using your vids as reference for setting. Cool. Hopefully it helps. Ideal combination of the above on toms. Yeah, Emperor on toms. I like condenser mics on toms. I'd like to buy either 414s or the AT4040s to use on toms, which is, I love just putting a big giant condenser on a tom. It's just so risky. Taking us back to the 90s with some Alan Jackson. Yeah. Favorite genre to work on? Anything nostalgic, anything from the 90s. Also, anything that's good. I've worked on a lot of projects where people make music where at first I will judge it and I'll be like, I'm not going to like this. And because the artist is so down to earth and so cool, I wind up loving it. All right. This is Alan Hunter. Great question. Somebody doubted me in one of my comments and they said, that's not an SM7, that's an SM7B. Listen, this is the real deal. This is the SM7 OG. Check it out. I don't know if you can see. SM7. That's right. Not B. I don't have the B. This is the oldie. I don't know the difference. I honestly don't care. But yeah, this is the SM7. It's very old. Okay, and then me too much. Hey man, say hello to Brazil. What's up, Brazil? Try to make my studio a new home. Your video will help. Okay, sweet. All right, guys. You guys are awesome. Wrap up Monday, new video. I'm going to do this every Friday for 1 hour. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys are awesome. And check out if you guys want to do one-on-one stuff, any advice or like a lesson type things or questions about building home studio, check out andrewmastersmusic.com and you can book me, jump on Zoom, one-on-one just like this. I'll talk to you, help you through whatever you want. I think it's $20. And get that scheduled. And what else? Smash the like. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you on the next video. Peace.